I am as a wonder unto many, but thou art my strong refuge. Psalm 71, verse 7. The psalmist describes himself as a wonder, but not in the sense of admiration. The word carries the idea of a portent or sign, something that causes people to stop and stare. His life has become a spectacle. The enemies point to his suffering as evidence that God has abandoned him. His prolonged affliction, his age, all of it becomes material for those who want to argue that trusting God produces nothing. This is a specific suffering. It is not only physical danger. It is the suffering of being made an example of failure by those who oppose God. The psalmist's life has become a public argument against faith. Yet the verse does not end there. Against the spectacle of his suffering stands one declaration: "But thou art my strong refuge." The contrast is deliberate. Men see a wonder, a portent of doom. The psalmist sees a refuge. What looks like abandonment from the outside is, from the inside, a life hidden in God's protection. The strong refuge is not a place the psalmist runs to occasionally. He already lives there. Let my mouth be filled with thy praise and with thy honor all the day. Psalm 71, verse 8. The psalmist does not pray for his enemies to be silenced first. He prays for his own mouth to be filled with praise before any circumstances change. The word filled suggests completeness, a mouth so occupied with God's praise that nothing else displaces it. This is not passive silence in the face of opposition. It is active, continuous worship that refuses to let the enemy's narrative go unanswered. The pairing of praise and honor is significant. Praise responds to what God does. Honor reacts to who God is. The psalmist wants both, and he wants them all day, not just at morning prayer or evening devotion, but as the constant occupation of his speech throughout every hour. Cast me not off in the time of old age, forsake me not when my strength faileth. Psalm 71, verse 9. The psalmist names his specific vulnerability. He is old. His strength is failing. These are not abstractions. They are the concrete conditions that make his enemies bold and his situation dangerous. The ancient world offered little protection to those whose physical strength had diminished. The old man stood exposed, lacking the strength of youth, allies, or an army. The prayer assumes something that must be stated. God does not discard his servants when they become less useful by human standards. The psalmist prays against the fear that God operates the way men operate, abandoning what no longer performs. The prayer itself pushes back against that lie. He brings his weakness to God as the very reason God should draw near. For mine enemies speak against me, and they that lay wait for my soul take counsel together. Psalm 71, verse 10. The psalmist describes coordinated opposition. His enemies are not acting alone. They gather, take counsel, and plan together against him. Their target is his soul, meaning his life itself. This is not casual hostility. It maintains organization and purpose. The enemy speaks against him while plotting in secret, combining slander with strategy. Both the public words and the private counsel work toward the same end. Saying God hath forsaken him, persecute and take him, for there is none to deliver him. Psalm 71, verse 11. The enemy's argument is theological. They do not say the psalmist is weak or old or outnumbered, though all of that may be true. They say God has forsaken him. His enemy reads his suffering as divine abandonment and uses that interpretation to justify their attack. If God is no longer with him, then he is vulnerable. If there is no one to deliver him, then pursuing him costs nothing. This is the enemy's central lie throughout Scripture, that suffering proves God's absence. The entire psalm stands as the answer.